here are 5 keys to following up. Okay, when you look at stories, I love to tell stories. Facts tell and stories sell. When you try to educate a person into the business or fact a person into the business, ladies and gentlemen, that does nothing for them. It's like handing them a pamphlet and walking away. Okay. If you're going to tell stories, I like to tell stories of people who've actually won. Like, if somebody saw the presentation, in early January, and I'm following up with them, and it's the end of February or it's early March, I'm going to tell them stories about people who came into the business, and because of the It Takes Two program, their results are skyrocketing in comparison to what normally happens in the business. I'll give them specific individuals who's done some things. Like I have people in my group right now who they put 20 people in business in 2 days, in the last 2 days of the month of February. And these are not networkers. So when I tell a person who may not be a networker or an entrepreneur this story, that a person came in and they followed the system and they went straight to the top, or they're experiencing great success, that helps. When you tell a person, stories about how many people have come in the system, right? Since we've talked last, it lets people know that we need to get moving. It gives them the fear of loss. And so, but continue to tell stories of everybody, everything. Tell people stories about Cancun, that the trip that we have coming up, or any events that we have coming up in the future. So we want to make sure that they continue to know that life is moving on. They'll continue to get that social proof that they need to make those decisions. So master the art of storytelling. Okay, leverage. This is the next key, and I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier when I said you're telling a person, you know what, since we talked, 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I've had 7 or 8 people who've come in, to the business on that same side that we were going to put you on. And that those 7 or 8 people have already put in about 25 to 30 people. So all of those people could have actually been beneath you, okay, in our dual team or binary system, okay. And so now, when you position yourself, you're going to be contributing to their income as opposed to it being the other way around. Okay, so when you look at leverage is the key. That's why we use the binary, ladies and gentlemen. On the front end, remember, a person gets in, they have what we call first movers advantage. They have prime real estate. They have an opportunity to go out there and let the system, do some dynamic things around them while they're building through their process, while they're taking their time, or while they're growing, while they're developing, while they're earning, while they're learning. That leverage is key. So the more and more, people who you put in the system while they're making up their mind, the more and more pressure that they put on themselves when they hear all the good news. Okay, and so leverage is very, very key. The next key, okay, when you talk about effective following up, 3-way phone calls. Man, 3-way phone calls. When you look over here on the left-hand side, third-party validation, senior partner support, and team member social proof. Well, when you look at that third-party validation, like I said, coming out of a meeting where you probably did a Zoom presentation, and you had a couple of people on your call. Well, you found somebody who was excited. You found somebody who realized that I want to make an extra $5,000 a month, or I want to retire my spouse. And you get that person on the line with one of your senior partners. Okay. What happens is this, you do the edification prior to the 3-way phone call. Let that person know who you're going to put them on the phone with. Let them know their accolades and their accomplishments, and let them know that this person is going to be available to help them as long as they deserve it. Right. And so when they get on that call, all you want to do is say, hello, Mr. Gray. This is Tanya. Tanya, this is Mr. Gray. And I'm going to put myself on mute, and I'm going to go ahead and let you guys have that conversation. So when you tell Mr. Gray exactly what Tanya liked the best, he knows exactly where to go from there. This is not the opportunity for you to take, over the phone call and instruct Mr. Gray on what to tell Tanya and how to take that conversation and guide her. He's the expert. He's going to do that. But what happens is, now, by pulling yourself out of the equation, it also is teaching that person, Tanya, how to behave when you do a 3-way for her. It's also teaching her that you actually have respect for your leader. It also teaches her, that she has support. She has somebody who has the results that's going to be right there in her corner when she gets started. So she don't have to know everything, which means that senior partner support is going to be there. Okay. And if you're one of those people, ladies and gentlemen, who you can't get, a Spencer Iverson on the phone, or you can't get an Amy Seaver on the phone. You can't get one of your diamond leaders, a Johnny Wimbrey on the phone. What happens is now you go to your teammates and you say, hey, like I would call somebody like Ali Williams, I call her a golden girl. And I would say, hey, Tanya, I know you want to get in, and I know you got some doubts about network marketing. You've never talked to anybody who's successful. I want you to talk to somebody and who's had some success, in this company, who's never had success in another company before. This lady, Lee Williams, in the last 2 days of February, she put in 17 people in her business. And I can tell you right now, she's extremely excited about it, and her team's extremely excited about it, and they've taken off. So I put her on the phone with somebody on my team. I give her that social proof from one of my team members, and that team member will not only validate what I just told them, but they will also go back and edify you again. So now this is giving you more credibility. But if you're not using 3 ways, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now, you're costing yourself a lot of money. 3 ways are huge in network marketing. And a lot of people who know you, let me help you understand something. A lot of people who know you, they love you, right? But they don't trust your business prowess on this platform. They don't trust that you can help them become successful. And 9 times out of 10, they probably think that they're more capable and more qualified than you anyway, and because they're comfortable and they're familiar. So having somebody, outside of you and that friendship, that relationship, do a 3-way phone call for you, I can tell you right now, that'll do a lot of good for you, because your expert is going to turn around and put all of the recognition and all the edification back on you, because they want you to be able to work with that person efficiently and effectively, and they want to be able to work themselves out of a job. Okay. So when you look at this, baseball diamond, and I talked about it earlier, let's just say you're at home plate, you're at the batter's box, and the one thing that you don't want to do, like my real good friend, we call him Super E, Mr. Emmanuel Bernstein, Diamond Ambassador here in iBuumerang International. He likes to say, hey, don't swing for the fences. Okay. Right now, all you need are some base hits. Okay. Because people who actually swing for the fences always take the big shot. They swing it and they strike out more than anybody. Okay. What you want to do is you want to put the ball in play. Okay. You want to figure out what hole, what gap you want to knock that ball through just to get on base. So when you put that person on a Zoom and they're watching a presentation, or you put them on a It Takes Two, right? And they're watching that presentation, or you send them an either-side video. However you expose those people, they're swinging, you're swinging, and you hit, and next thing you know, you're going to take that base hit, and you're going to go to the very first exposure, right? So that's what that is. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go from the first exposure to the second exposure, which is a 3-way phone call. Okay. So if a person is saying, hey, look, I love what I've seen, I love the money, I love the travel, and I love the video. The video is very, very duplicatable. The either side thing is genius, and it's only 15 minutes, and they're giving you all the great feedback, that you need, because you're collecting data, you're collecting intel that you're giving to your senior partner, so they can help that person make a buying decision. Okay. So we're not in the convincing business. We're in the business of helping people open up their business. Okay. So from that first exposure, we're going to go straight to the 3-way phone call. Okay? That 3-way phone call, like I just explained, is going to be with your expert. Now, what happens is we're going to take that person, if they're not ready to sign up right now, right? If they're not ready to go ahead and ink on the dotted line, they got a couple things they want in a little bit of time that they want to think about it with the spouse, or they want to put some dimes, nickels, and quarters together. That's fine. But what we want to do is we want to get them to the next exposure. Okay? And the next exposure, it can be anything from one of our morning motivation calls, okay, that happens every morning at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. It could be one of our basic training calls that happens Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 4 o'clock p.m., depending on who that person is and their personality. If they're a green, an analytical individual, they might want to see what the system looks like, and they might want to play with it a little bit. So you put them on one of our basic training calls, or they can be on one of our It Takes Two calls, 12 o'clock noon every day, or 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time every day. It doesn't matter. Get them to the very next exposure, right? That third exposure. Okay. And once they get to that third exposure, And again, you're keeping them connected. You're keeping them within the system. You're keeping them updated. You keep giving them testimonials. You keep giving them stories. You keep feed them and feed them and feed them until you get them to a regional event, or you get them on another training call, or you get them on one of the, like, because your leaders, ladies and gentlemen, your leaders, some of them actually have training calls. See, that's a great tool as well. You get a chance to show the people who you're wanting to do business with, who they're tied to, and what they have access to going forward. You have people who are, again, in this company, like Jex. You know, Jex is amazing. He's a great speaker. You know, he's very, very passionate about it. And I can tell you, if you put him on a training call with Jex, they're in the business. You know, when you look at, you know, other people, you're Daniel Camaro, again, a person, he may be doing a training, you know, on, you know, how to get the diamond or how to get $20,000 a month or something like that. And they get on the train like that, and that's an exposure. Or they may get a chance to hear, you know, Cesar Munoz talk about, you know, energy, you know, one of his trainings or something like that. You never know. A training is just as good as a presentation. Okay. It really is, because the presentation is, you know, the one thing that you show everybody. That's what happens before a person signs up. When they see a training from one of your leaders, that's what happens after you sign up. So now they get a chance to see what's up under the hood. Okay. And once they get to that third exposure, boom, you bring them home. Okay. You got a brand new team member. Okay. And that's what that baseball diamond does. Keep a person in play. Keep a person, don't ever put the whole team at jeopardy by swinging for the fences. Keep on hitting those base hits. Keep on hitting those gaps until you can keep on seeing the people, you know, come in. When you look at all the World Series, you know, the World Series are not won on everybody hitting home runs. Okay. The World Series and the championships are brought home by people who get on the base the most. Okay. And bring people home the most. So again, that's our baseball diamond. Okay. And so another key to following up is giving people materials that you have to get back. See, if a person, you know, gets one of your vision albums, okay, this vision album, ladies and gentlemen, that we have right here is an amazing album, has a lot of great pictures, and it's the vision album from our big convention, you know, last year. And everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, you know, everybody's co-mingling, everybody's coexisting, you know, and they get a chance to see our culture, they get a chance to see our environment, right? That's amazing. And that's why you want to have more than one album. You want to have, you know, 4 or 5 albums just to have so you can give out. So when that person, you know, says, hey, you know, I'm busy, I can't follow up with you right now, I can't return your phone call right now, no problem. Send them a text message, say, hey, that's great. You just let me know when you're ready to do business or when you're ready to follow up, but I need to come get my inventory. I need to come get my vision album, or I need to come get my pamphlets that I gave you because that's my inventory. I gave that to you to watch. Or I need to come get my flight plan calendar, right? My flight plan calendar is something that I may have given a person who wants to see what our system looks like, you know, behind closed doors. Again, this is something that we use. This is a tool that we use to make sure that we're on purpose. This is our calculator, if you will, okay? But I need to get it back. So get that back. Don't let a person keep it. It gives you an opportunity to get right back in front of that person, but in person, right? Now, that's very, very, so this is something I learned from Mr. Bugs years ago. He teaches this on the cash cow, right? So go ahead and buy enough material where you can have material that's out and people are watching it and looking at it, and make sure you have an appointment to get back with them so you can get that back. That presents another opportunity for you to communicate and get back with them to follow up.